What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim, and I don't I don't know how many people will actually show up to this. It was unplanned, and I know it's late, but just looking back at some stuff, I wanted to when I saw something that popped out to me and looked interesting, I was like, yeah, I'll film it. We'll talk about it. It's in regard to um, Erika Kirk's early TV appearances, things she said. And like I've said before, we're going to be going back and just looking over everything and analyzing her body language, her affect, um, the words that she chooses to say, how she says it, what she focuses on, all of that. So let's get into it. And this is her on the Jesse Waters show, or I don't know if it's Jesse Waters is interviewing her. I don't know what show it is.
I can't help but smile when I hear his name or say it. He was the love of my life, still is. Phenomenal father, incredible man, good friend, very loyal. He had a great dry sense of humor. He built something so incredible, and he was a bridge in our country, meaning he had the gift of communication. He could talk to the younger generations. He could talk to a donor group. He could talk to the President of the United States.
Charlie and Erika first met through their mutual friend, the now COO of Turning Point, Tyler Boyer.
And there's the part that I wanted to talk about, because do you guys remember the statement where she said she met Tyler Boyer through Charlie, that she didn't know Tyler Boyer? And the whole debate online was like, that's not true, because there's pictures of you at the Trump convention or rally in Arizona in 2015. Tyler Boyer is the one that put it on, and he's the one that put you directly behind the podium. And you guys spoke beforehand in order for that to be arranged. But you both denied when and how you two knew each other, because it is very suspicious that, and more's coming out about like Andrew Colvett and his background, his family's background, deep ties to military intelligence, the FBI, back during the 1960s and 70s, and Andrew Colvett's grandfather, I don't know if it's great or just grandfather, took part in COINTELPRO. And there's documents that were released on X today regarding the COINTELPRO department of the FBI looking to assassinate and planning to take Martin Luther King out. And Andrew Colvett's grandfather, I think it is, was part of that and on the documents. And I can show you guys that another time. That's not the point of this show tonight. But here we go. Right off the bat, she says in her own words that Tyler Boyer is the one that introduced them. So that's how we get Erika Kirk at that interview, that supposedly, if you believe the myth and the lore, that's how it was set up to interview Erika Kirk, and it was Tyler Boyer. And yeah, I don't know. It's just super interesting that we just keep finding these major inconsistencies and lies from everyone on their team.
Erika, a college athlete and former Miss Arizona, had graduated from Arizona State University. She was living in New York City. And Tyler had what he thought was the perfect job for her.
I did it again. I'm glad I looked. This is the problem when you're doing this. When I go to talk and I make myself big, and then I forget to go back and make myself small. So I apologize. It happens.
He said, we have this youth organization, you know, would love to get you involved. I briefly met Charlie for maybe 2 minutes. Quick handshake. Hi, nice to meet you. Mind you, I did not know after that brief meeting that Tyler and Charlie had sat down, and Tyler was like,
oh, the other interesting data point is that she has deep connections to what's the guy's first name? Something Falwell and Liberty University. And she was a fellow of the Falkirk organization or whatever it's called back in 2014 or 15. So like she knew of Charlie way back then, whether she admitted it or not. There's documentation of her being a part of the Falkirk Institute or whatever it is. And I'll look up and find it. I saw it on someone else's content, and I need to find a place so I can download it and then share it with you guys. But she knew of Charlie way back in 2014, whether she wants to admit it or not. Oh, wait, I almost did it again. There we go.
this is the girl that I need to hire for something with regard to the faith component of the outreach that they were trying to start. And he was like, so next time you're in New York, you really should sit down with her. And then that kind of sparked into everything else.
They did end up having that meeting in New York, and what started as a job interview quickly drew the spark that Erika was talking about.
And so then we had a great time, and it was about 15 minutes in, I quickly pivoted away from wanting to hire her to wanting to date her, and now we know how that worked quite well.
He grilled me for hours. Grilling's probably not the proper term, but we debated back and forth. Philosophy, politics, theology, anything that Charlie loved to talk about, we talked about it. And afterwards, he was done eating and he just looked at me and he goes, you know, I'm not going to hire you. And I said, I did not need the job. I said, I was fine with consulting with you guys if you needed anything.
If you didn't need the job, Erika, why did you go on the interview? Why were you there then? If you weren't looking for a job, you didn't need the job, you weren't actually serious about working for Charlie, then why were you doing the interview with Charlie? Well, in my opinion, it's because Tyler Boyer and Erika and many others were planning this and setting this up, right? And we know she just said it, that Tyler Boyer is the one that set this up. So, but she just says right there, like, I wasn't even looking for a job. What? Why do you go on a job interview if you're not looking for a job, Erika? Oh, if you're looking to honeypot someone. Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, it didn't play. Hold on.
With regard to help, I have plenty of things going on in New York City. He said, I'm going to date you. I said, you don't want to just be friends for a little bit.
And I told her I had enough friends and that I didn't want to be friends with her. So that was kind of a non-starter. But if she wanted to date, that would be great. I had enough friends. And I think she still finds that to be very funny, but I meant it.
And I tried to process that on the walk home and that's when I called my mom. And she was like, oh, are you working with them? Are you going to get a job with them? And I was like, no, but I got a boyfriend. And it was a moment.
Yeah, I call bullshit. So he meets you once, right, on this setup interview that Tyler set up, and he walks away wanting to date you. But before you actually start dating and before you're official on anything, you go home and you tell your mom that he's your boyfriend. Right. Okay. I'm sure Lori Fransby didn't have anything to do with this meeting being set up and you planning on marrying Charlie from the start and taking over his organization. I'm sure, right? Nothing nefarious here to see, guys. Don't look away.
I literally had to walk home to process everything that just happened because, again, the Lord knew that I needed a man that was going to be so assertive, not play games, not say, yeah, let's just be friends and see how it goes. Let's just talk it out. No, he was so direct. He was so clear. I want to date you with the intention of marrying you. He didn't want to waste his time. He didn't want to waste mine.
When did you know you were in love?
He knew immediately.
Listen to that. So much of what she does is so eye-opening. So Jesse asks her, when did you know you were in love? She didn't even answer. He knew. Oh, no, that wasn't the question, Erika. When did you know? And because it wasn't immediately, you can't answer it that way. So you answered, well, Charlie knew right away that he loved you and was in love with you and wanted to marry you, but you sure shit didn't. Yeah, you can't love someone that you're honeypotting. That's for sure.
And I knew there was something there, but I, prior to that, was praying.
She knew something was there. That's it. That's all it is. She knew something was there. Yeah, a $150 million a year company organization, the control of the new Republican Party. Yeah, the ability to target, surveil, and track Christians at church and universities and across the United States. Yeah, an opportunity of a lifetime. That's what she knew.
That if he was to be my future husband, that the Lord would make it so clear that I would have such a peace about it, outside of it wearing a suit, outside of work-related events. And he just was amazing.
Turning Point meant a lot too. This campus was just 2 buildings at the time, but the organization was already well on its way to becoming a force in American politics.
You know, it's funny about leftists on college campuses. They think they're being rebels, yet all their friends are liberal, their teachers are liberal, the music they listen to is liberal, the textbooks they read are liberal, the entire...
You have to rush home. When you come home, home is waiting for you. I was never the type of wife that looked at my...
How is it that she went on like all of those different media appearances, whether that be those morning shows, the Barry Weiss show, Here with Jesse Waters, and all the others that she did, and she had like these clear talking points that she just repeats. I just always told him, I want to be your soft launching pad when you get home. You don't need to worry about me. I'm fine. When he came home, Shabbat Shalom, daddy's home, phone's gone. Oh my goodness, Erika. You should deviate from the script a little, or it's very obvious that you're reading from a script. Like, yeah, but she's like Kamala. She can't ad lib. She can't go off script, you know? Yeah, there are so many similarities between her and Kamala Harris and how they both are like a live interviewer's nightmare and a PR nightmare that it's so bad. Anytime she's gone on TV and opened her mouth and been in front of a camera, everyone's like, what the heck is happening right now? Self-destruct mode.
Phone and said, okay, you better be home at 5 o'clock for dinner when I have it on the table. Never. I said, home is here for you when you get home. Dinner will be ready whenever you're ready to eat.
It's like they had the perfect arrangement for Erika. Erika loved the idea that he was gone 300 days a year. She got all the money. She got all the glamour. She got everything she wanted. And she didn't have to be with Charlie that much. That's why she wasn't worried about him being gone that much, helping with the kids that much. Yeah.
I will never make you feel guilty for pursuing what the Lord has put on your heart.
For making me millions of dollars. I will never make you feel guilty for making me millions and millions of dollars. Go, go, go. No. Go back out. You don't need to be home. I haven't seen you in 4 weeks. Why are you home, Charlie? You need to get out there and grow this company. You need to get more donors. You need to get more people signed up to register. You need to sell more merch. You need to do more shows. Get out of here. Get out of here, bud.
Did you know right away that Charlie was destined for something larger than life?
Charlie has a great disposition.
She once again didn't answer yes, didn't answer of course. Can't you tell? Like anyone that watched Charlie listen to him could tell he was destined for greatness. He was amazing. And she goes, da 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 da. No. Come on. She can't even answer directly one of his questions.
About him. So I knew that he was never going to be just, he operated, everyone knew this, the way he operated his life, he wasn't going to waste time. He wasn't going to waste the one life that the Lord has blessed him with. When you get married to someone you love, you never think, oh, I mean, at least we didn't, what our future was going to look like. It's not that you sign up for something. You just.
She did. She did. She knew exactly what she was signing up for. Her and her mom, they were planning. They were planning for the future. They were planning for this moment, for when he was gone and she could take over the company. That's what she knew. She was planning light years ahead of Charlie. He had no idea.
Marry the love of your life, and however that unfolds, it unfolds. And we both have very similar understandings, and I knew, obviously I knew his life would be important. All of our lives are important.
Dude, she downplays like everything. It's insane. Obviously, I knew his life would be important, but all of our lives are important. Erika, he asked you if you knew Charlie was going to do great, amazing things, that he had the it factor. You can't even say that. His life was going to be important, just like all of our lives are important. Oh, so he's just like everyone else. He's just normal dude to you, just a normal guy, nothing special here.
But all I cared about was loving him and being a wife to him, being a mother to his children. That to me was so much more important. Everything else
is not important to her. Bull crap. Being his wife and the mother to his children. Hey, Erika, how are you being a mother to your children right now that Charlie's gone and you're the CEO of a massive organization? You're gone 300 days a year. We could look up the Make Heaven Crowded. Let me look it up real quick. Make Heaven Crowded tour event. Let's look it up. Schedule. Let me put in the word. Yeah, it stops. There we go. Boom. All right, let's pull it up. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Nope, you only see me. Hold on. Okay, let me go back. Let's see. Okay, so literally you are not with your kids at all. I want to let me highlight it like I did before. There we go. All right. Yeah. Los Angeles, January, San Diego, in Nashville, Orlando, Philadelphia, Virginia, Dallas, Portland, Billings, Crown Point, Louisville, Anchorage, Austin, Woodland Park, Colorado. I mean, all over. And that's all the way through December of this year. And then next year's cities are already selected, but the dates are not input yet. How, Erika, how can you be a mother to Charlie's kids, especially now that he's gone, when you are working that much? 5 days after he was assassinated, you were on that phone call, laughing and giggling at work, telling everyone they need to work harder, they need to not go home. Come on. That's what Charlie wanted us to do. He wants us to work. He wants us to work more. He's working. He didn't stop working. He's dead, but he didn't stop working. Him and Jesus are working. They're working together. We're all working together. I'm talking with Jesus and Charlie, and he told me this. He told me to tell you to keep working. He would want you to do this. But Candace is crazy for having a dream about Charlie. But I'm actually talking to Jesus and Charlie, and they're telling me they're working for TPUSA in heaven. So you should be too.
I could care less.
Charlie was so disciplined. He had his routine.
I know.
He worked out.
He did.
He did his reading.
Yeah.
Are you now stepping into that?
Him and I are very similar from the standpoint of...
Isn't it crazy? She hasn't answered one question. Every question he has asked her, she just starts talking about something else. She doesn't say yes. She doesn't say no. She just starts talking about something else. It's like she has an allergy to answering questions. Like she's going to break out in hives. If she answers the question directly, she's going to break out in hives.
making yourself a better person as life goes on. We all live many lives, and we all are constantly trying, at least Charlie and I, we're constantly trying.
Wait, did she just espouse reincarnation? Wait, did this Christian chick just say we all live many lives? I mean, is she speaking metaphorically? I don't know. That's interesting. I'm not going to read into it, but I mean, okay. Okay, Erika, we live many lives. Thank you for that deep, deep insight. Thank you.
To improve ourselves. We always worked out. We had the same trainer because him and I were athletes. It always goes back to the basic and simple things. He loved eating clean. He loved all of that stuff. But something that was so powerful about Charlie is that,
dude, this is just like a week or so after his assassination. Do you guys remember if you saw the Kobe Bryant wife memorial? Like, she couldn't keep it together at all. Like, she was crying the entire time. Erika's on all these appearances. Like, she's dabbing her eyes in like some of the moments, but like not crying. She's thinking about him and reliving memories that she had with him. And it doesn't make her cry at all. And this is like week 2, whatever. This is early on, the Jesse Waters interview, early on.
he mastered self-control. He would say, know your nature. He mastered that. He perfected that. From the standpoint of, yes, he was very hard on himself. I have the journals to prove it. Very hard on himself. But he held himself to such a high standard because he wanted the people that were around him to be better also. And he wasn't going to be a leader that told people what to do and not do it.
He worked so hard.
He did.
He was the hardest working person in my business I've ever seen. Was that hard for you guys to balance that work and the family?
So when we first started dating and when we were first married, we would travel everywhere together. We were on the road 350 some days out of the year. And then once we had our first child, it was an adjustment period because I wanted to be home with our little one. But he was so good about always wanting to come home. Always wanted to come home. And I wanted to make sure that he wanted to come home. Again, that's why I never said, what are you doing? Why are you gone? Why are you traveling so much? I never had those questions because I knew his heart and I knew what he was doing was so important. And he always included me in it. And there were times where I would go to his events and there were times where I wouldn't, but it was a family-oriented mission. So I never once was threatened by that because I was a part of it.
He wrote you letters. Charlie wrote you letters.
I know.
Every week?
Every Saturday. So he would turn his phone off to honor the Sabbath.
So Jesse Waters, there's no way like he knows any of this information like himself. Like all of these little tidbits are what Andrew Colvett, Stacey Sheridan, and Erika Kirk spoke to Jesse ahead of time. Like, hey, so when you do these kind of interviews, it's like, what's on the table? What's off the table? What's allowed? What's not allowed? What can I ask her? What can I not ask her? And do you have any information you can give me that'll help me ask her questions? And they're like, yeah. So Charlie wrote in his journal and Erika has it. Charlie wrote her letters every Saturday. You can ask her about that. I just find it to be part of the bullshit talking points and I don't even buy it. Like, and even if, okay, so let's say he wrote her letter every Saturday. Let's say because he's on the road and he's gone a lot, he wrote her letters. What's worse is she didn't say she wrote him any letters back. So what's up with that? And let's say he was that much in love with her and like it was romantic. Like he was a hopeless romantic in that way that he wrote his wife letters every Saturday. She's retelling this story about a very personal and romantic aspect of her husband that clearly showed how much he loved her. And it doesn't make her tear up at all. And this is like week 2. I mean, it's just so ridiculous.
He would come in Open the junk drawer. Everyone has a junk drawer.
Shabbat
Open the junk drawer,
shalom.
said Shabbat Shalom, put it in there, turned the phone off, slammed the door, and he felt so free because he was unreachable
Talking point 3.
for 24, 48 hours.
Did you see Charlie change in the 7 years that you knew him? How did he change?
When he became a father,
Okay, what? So that would have, oh my goodness. I did it to you guys again. How long was it like that? I'm so sorry. I'll try not to go back and forth like that. But you guys can't see me. Like on my big screen, when I have it side by side and I'm like minimized and the big picture for you is big, I can see me. But then when I like go and like rewatch the video on my phone to see if it like all came out good, I look and my picture's so small and you can't like see me. So I go like this, but then I forget to go back. Baron does the same thing. So I mean, it just happens. Oh my God, now I lost my train of thought, what I was going to say. All right. I'll go back a second. It'll spark my memory.
phone off, slammed the door, and he felt so free because he was unreachable for 24, 48 hours.
Did you see Charlie change in the 7 years that you knew him?
There we go. That reminded me. So that would have been the perfect opportunity for an honest wife to say, you know what? In the last year of his life, especially the last 6 months, he completely was changing on his stance on Israel. Yeah, because he tells me everything. He told me everything. I know everything that was going on with him, because that's another statement she made at a different appearance. So what did Charlie tell you? What did you know about Turning Point, about his feelings, the direction of Turning Point, his feelings on Israel? She knew everything. Okay. She didn't know about the text messages that he was afraid for his life. Okay. She didn't know that he had completely changed his stance on Israel and was no longer going to be part of the pro-Israel cause. But no, that's not how she answers this, y'all.
How did he change?
When he became a father,
I believe
you know this, when you become a parent, it changes you. When you become a husband or a wife, it changes you. I mean, being on the altar and making a covenant with the Lord and saying, this is my person, it changes you. You become one. Everything becomes one. Nothing is separated. And it was just powerful because I got to see him grow, not just in wisdom. He read a lot of books, wisdom, but he grew in patience. And you can see that on campus too. You see the evolution of him going from holding the mic all the time to then putting it down, taking a sip of his tea, throwing in a throat coat, and just listening. You could see how he evolved.
Let's go back to that because let's analyze. Look at here. There's no platform that he's on, right? His chair is on the ground, directly on the ground. They're on grass. Okay. Let's look at this one. Right. Where'd it go? Right there. And then, of course, there's Dan Flood right here to the left. And yeah, he's not on a platform. The chair, everything is different than how it was that day at UVU.
Listening, you could see how he evolved into this incredible man who he mastered himself.
He became more tranquil.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you guys. So she's like Mother Mary, right? And there was a clip on X where she literally compares herself to Mary, Jesus's mother, the day of the crucifixion, and that she had to witness it, and that she was there and had to watch the whole thing. And she compared herself to Mary and how she handled it. And then how her experience of having, well, I mean, she didn't watch, but I'm sure she saw the videos. But her experience losing Charlie, and that her and Mary are both. And I mean, I knew that from the beginning. She was trying to compare herself to like Mother Teresa or God, Mother Mary, by forgiving Tyler Robinson a week after the assassination. Like, bullshit. What about the first 4 stages of grief? You just fucking passed those right away, went right to the 5th stage of acceptance. Like, okay.
As he grew older.
He did, and that was a huge testament to his faith because he realized more and more this is not about Charlie Kirk.
Is there one thing that you know about Charlie that no one else knows that you want to share?
Okay. So he would name all of my daughters and my son's stuffed animals, every single one of them. His favorite animal was the platypus.
That's weird that she just said my daughters and my sons, not ours. That's interesting. Right? That is what she said, right? Let's see.
He would name all of my daughters and my son's stuffed animals.
She did.
Every single one of them.
My daughters and my sons. That is weird. What the heck? A week after his assassination. Not our daughter, not our son. Okay.
Favorite animal was the platypus. It's so random, but it's so funny because it was such a utility animal. And it's not even an animal you would think of. And I remember when I went to the San Diego Zoo with my child, my daughter, and we found a platypus shirt there. And
She did it again with my daughter.
I had her put it on, and Charlie was like, "How did you find that shirt?" And I was like, "We just so happened to go to the zoo and they had a platypus." He was blown away.
I'm glad we didn't embarrass him too much there.
Yeah.
We saw these clips go viral afterwards about him being a father.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at some of those.
Watch this, guys. She's going to watch this whole thing of Charlie with her kids, their kids, but in her eyes, they're her kids. They're not their kids. They're her kids. Remember, they're my kids, not our kids. And this is just a week after his assassination, and she's watching them together. She doesn't cry. I don't know how that's even possible.
That's so fun. That was a great day.
So we're here at Bill's Burgers in New York City. And right near this very table was the first time Dad met Mom. And it started as a job, and I was asking all these questions, philosophy, religion, Jesus.
So fun.
How could you watch that a week after your husband was assassinated, watching him with your children? I mean, I don't know where I'm at on that yet. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, the pictures that she sent for her alibi, the 5-year-old and the 7-year-old are clearly not her kids. The kids that they supposedly had are 1 and 3. I know a lot of people don't think they had kids. I mean, that means Charlie would have been in on it. And I don't know where I'm at on that yet. Okay. My mind is open, though, to the possibility as things continue to unfold, because if those aren't their real kids, then Charlie would have had to been in on whatever this is. And I'm just not there yet. So, yeah.
It was so fun.
What kind of relationship did he have with each child?
When you ask that, I can't get this image out of my head of, this feeling too, where you see your husband come home, or you as the father come home, and the kids just run to you. His relationship with them was so precious because they're so little. So it's not like you're teaching them these amazing things, but somehow he's still found a way to incorporate it in little ways. But his relationship with them was so pure and precious because you see him being on stage in front of thousands of people, commanding the presence, telling them all about Western civilization, telling them all about what's going on in the world, telling them why they should care. And then you see him come home and just be a dad. Go play with them in the pool. Love on them. Tickle them. Play with them. Like, even if it was just with his stuffed animals, play with them.
What do you see of him in
the
them?
kids.
All right, we're going to hop over here. That one's getting a little boring and slow. Let's listen to this one. All right. Yep. Let me make it bigger.
Beautiful tribute. People are going to be feeling emotional. I'm like, fired up.
Fired up.
Charlie would want it.
Same with at the memorial, you know, everyone got the fire.
Yeah.
Everyone got the sparks.
Yeah, and that is weird, and it's really weird that like Megyn Kelly doesn't notice that that's weird. And that she thought it was a normal thing to point out. That doesn't make sense to me. And you know what? Like, I like Megyn Kelly just as much as I like Tucker more, but how she's on the wrong side of this, you know, spewing the Fed slop narrative, saying that she's positive Tyler did it and that she wants to be there when they flip the switch and watch him die. Much like Jack Posobiec saying that he's so confident because of all the BS Fed slop points. Part of their narrative is why they are so confident in it. I just don't get how Megyn can be saying these things.
The fire makes a nice difference. So
Gets everyone in the crowd ready.
let me ask you a question that my friends who have lost somebody say is the right question. How are you doing today?
Well, we talked about earlier this week how it was an emotional week for me. The firsts are always so interesting because the firsts are either like your first date, you know, your first kiss, and then with loss, it's like the first birthday, the first holiday.
You know, it was Erika's birthday this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
It was yours too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
This is our birthday celebration together. You guys are all just.
It's really not normal for her to like smile that much. Does she realize what the context of all of these appearances are about? Does she not know that it's about her husband being assassinated? And yet she's all smiles about everything. It's just so bizarre.
Happening to be here while we have coffee. But every day is different.
Let's sing happy birthday. We sang to you last night.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Rosso was so sweet.
Sorry, 2 nights ago. Why not? May we? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Oh my God. Listen, I don't want to hear this. This is so dumb.
That surrounds me now. You know, he built Turning Point USA, yes, and it's a machine, yes, but he handpicked all of the people that not only run the organization.
No, he didn't, you liar. What the heck? No, he didn't. All the people that came with you when you came into the picture and the millions and millions of dollars, that's when Tyler Boyer showed up. And we just heard in the previous video, that's who introduced Erika to Charlie, was Tyler Boyer. He didn't handpick Tyler Boyer. You did. He didn't handpick Stacey Sheridan. You did. Andrew Colvett, you. Terrell Farnsworth, you. What are you talking about? Oh, and because you want to try to say that he handpicked all of them, that means they should be above any kind of suspicion, and we can't ask questions or say that, you know, they have suspect characters and non-existent morals or values. Give me a break, dude.
But that were within our orbit, our closest orbit, the people that he loved and he trusted so much, and that he knew without a shadow of a doubt, if something happened to him, that they would step up and they would be filled with the Holy Spirit and they would do what he knew they were born to do. And they wouldn't be afraid. They wouldn't cower. They would take
to make money, to not grieve. He knew that they would just continue on as if Charlie never existed, as if Erika was the CEO the whole time. as if this was the plan from the beginning. He knew that all of them, Mikey McCoy, Blake Neff, Andrew Colvett, Terrell Farnsworth, Jake Hoffman, Tyler Boyer, he knew that they would just keep going, making the company and organization bigger, make that money, sell that merch.
On the mission that he had instilled in them. And so to be able to have that chosen family in that village that he helped literally handpick, I could not do a fraction of a fraction.
They've been amazing. Turning Point is in such good hands. Yes, obviously with you as the CEO, but the team that you have around you, all of whom I've met, are good and decent and loving people who adored Charlie.
They loved him.
Let's go back before we get into your relationship with him and
All right. I mean, like 100% Megan is in on it. I mean, not in on Charlie being taken out, but on the cover up, on spreading the BS propaganda. Cause like everything she just said is completely and like verifiably false. All the people surrounding Charlie at the last days of his life and who are now running the organization with Erika are by far some of the most evil individuals alive. And Megan had no problem just giving them the most glowing review.
your future
It's despicable.
to you. Because I think people are very curious about you. I think they want to know more about you. So
Yeah, Megan, we want to know where the heck she came from. We want to know the truth about her parents, her family, her Jewish heritage that have deep ties to the Jewish mob. Yeah. Yeah, we want to know about this woman because it doesn't make sense.
know that obviously you were Miss Arizona. Hello. Nicely done. Good, very, very top selection. And that you were a businesswoman in New York when you first got interested in Turning Point. So what were you doing in New York?
So to go back a little bit further, I mean, right now, first and foremost, I'm a daughter to the King, to the Most High. That's the most important title, if you will. And
I mean, that's a really weird way of saying it, honestly. Just saying that that's a weird way of saying that you're a Christian and that you're saved.
my husband, in August, before all this happened, he had a event where he had some donors at. And one of the first questions they asked was, God forbid if something happens to you, like what would happen next to Turning Point? And Charlie made a really interesting point. He said, companies.
So this is one of the first times we heard this talking point that she spews. And remember, Candace said she can't verify it. She's asked two people that were at that meeting. So it's not the Hamptons retreat where this question supposedly was posed. It was in Aspen, Colorado at the donor retreat. And Candace has asked two of the donors that were there, and they both said that question didn't happen. So what the heck, Erika? It's so that she can further the talking point that we need to accept her as CEO because Charlie said so. It was Charlie's dying wish, guys. You guys, Charlie wanted it.
You know, example, Apple, Macintosh. He said,
Does she not know that's the same company? Like it's two separate companies.
they're founder led. He said, but what I have built will one day, if I'm not around, be vision led. And he had made mention.
And that's another lie. And that's another talking point. She said that like over a dozen times by now. And like I said before, there's just no way that Charlie could have done that because of how unique he was as a person and just how electric and magnetic he was. People were there for him. Yeah, I'm sure he could cast visions, right? I'm sure he could run a good company and organization, but she's downplaying the fact that all of the people that were working there and that donated to Turning Point and believed in Turning Point were doing it because of the mission, because of the vision. No, they were doing it because of Charlie. I watched him every day because of Charlie, not because of his vision. Unreal.
And at the end, like, you know, Erika will do a great job running it. And
Oh, crap.
when I watched that video this week, it really put into perspective my youth and what I went through growing up and what I witnessed.
Wait, what video is she talking about? When I watched that video this week?
Wait,
hold on.
He had made mention at the end, like, you know, Erika will do a great job running it. And when I watched that video this week, it really put into perspective my youth.
Wait, so she's saying that statement in Aspen that there actually is video of it. And I know it was speculated that there was because all of these events, remember Charlie said he always wanted to be recording everything and collecting content. So it does make sense that at this donor retreat that they would have been filming his speech, like everything. And so she just said she was watching that video.
And what I went through growing up and what I witnessed, you know, my mom having her own company and being a single mother and watching her be the blueprint of, you know, I'm not afraid of raising my children alone because I saw my mom do that. I'm not afraid of being a CEO because I saw my mom do that. The only thing that I fear, to be fully transparent with you, is being out of the alignment of God's will, because I feel like that is a very dangerous position to be in. And
obviously you don't really think that, because you're definitely out of alignment of God's will by doing everything you've done since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. You told him and you told hundreds of thousands, if not millions of young women that the most important place for a young Christian mother to be is in the home raising her little kids. And your kids are little, 3 and 1. And you're out doing what you're doing. Yeah, no, I would say that's not God's will for you.
so for me, growing up, when I was in New York, it was one of those moments where I really trusted God. That's where I needed to be. I prayed on it at first because originally I was living in LA. And I said, Lord, if this is where you need me to be, make it so clear. Bought a one-way ticket to New York, one suitcase. My mom was like, what are you going to do when you're there? I was like, I'll figure it out once I get there. I just know that's where the Lord needs me. And so many people question that. They said, you're such a strong Christian. Why would you go to such a dark city? And I said, the more that you take the light out of a dark place, the darker it gets. So that's where I'm going. And I was there, and
Yeah, but when I moved to
Wait. You guys, did she just compare herself to Jesus? Jesus is the light of this world, correct? And yeah, I get it. As Christians, like, we are to be a mirror of Christ and reflect him to the world and through him bring light. But she just said that she would be bringing the light. Let's get back to that. Let's hear that again.
I'll figure it out once I get there. I just know that's where the Lord needs me. And so many people question that. They said, you're such a strong Christian. Why would you go to such a dark city? And I said, the more that you take the light out of a dark place, the darker it gets. So that's where I'm going. And I was there. And
yeah, but when I moved to New York, my brother said,
Mikey McCoy walked away for our sins, and she brought the light in for our sins, guys. Don't you know they all are saviors?
why would you want to move to New York? And I said, it's the big city of dreams. And he said, scary, nasty, wake up in the middle of the night screaming dreams. So I get it.
Charlie Kirk believed courage
Hold on.
and conviction
That's
still
what-
matter. He wanted every Christian to stand firm in their
3 months prior to meeting Charlie. And
Wait, let me
rewind a little bit. I went to Turning Point's.
But so you were working in New York for a while, and then you went back to Arizona to apply for the Turning Point job?
No, so I was in New York. I was a casting director. I was signed with a modeling agency. I had just gotten my real estate license 3 months prior to meeting Charlie. And rewind a little bit, I went to Turning Point's office opening for their first building. And Tyler
Wait, what? So before she even met Charlie, she went with Tyler to the first building's opening. So she's been hanging around Tyler. Well, I know she's known Tyler and Terrell and all of them for a long time, but she was actually like with Tyler hanging around Charlie and TPUSA long before that date that Tyler set up for them to meet. What?
runs Turning Point Action now. And he said, you need to meet the CEO. I said, okay, great. Met him very quickly, shook his hand, said, hi, nice to meet you. Neither of us thought anything of it. Looking back now, he apparently sat down with Tyler and said, we need to hire, or Tyler said, we need to hire her. And he goes, mm-hmm.
You guys, like, this is where the setup began. I got to replay that. Hold on.
Went to Turning Point.
Hold on. Just wait for it.
But so you were working in New York for a while, and then you went back to Arizona to apply for the Turning Point job?
No, so I was in New York. I was a casting director. I was signed with a modeling agency. I had just gotten my real estate license 3 months prior to meeting Charlie. And rewind a little bit, I went to Turning Point's office opening for their first building. And Tyler he runs Turning Point Action now. And he said, you need to meet the...
What do you mean now? He's been running Turning Point Action for years, because he stopped being CEO of Turning Point USA years ago when he was embroiled in the issue in Arizona where he had to be pardoned.
CEO. I said, okay, great. Met him very quickly, shook his hand, said, hi, nice to meet you. Neither of us thought anything of it. Looking back now, he apparently sat down with Tyler and said, we need to hire, or Tyler said, we need to hire her.
Yeah, Tyler's like, we need to hire her. We need to get her near you. We need to have her here again. Tyler's like, you and Erika, wink, wink.
And he goes, mm-hmm. Then he's like, where's she live? And Tyler said, New York. He's like, okay, I'm going to have a Fox News hit, and then I'm going to sit down with her and interview her in New York. So lo and behold, he comes to Manhattan, and I thought, I was so career-minded. My mother raised me to, and this is why I can relate a lot to the Manhattan mindset of a lot of young women, where it's career-oriented. Because
Erika, you don't have to convince us. We know that you were and are and always have been career oriented and focused on making money and being a boss babe. And that was the goal all along. That's what you and Tyler saw in Charlie. Tyler said it himself. He could hitch his wagon to Charlie. And then he told you, you can really hitch your wagon to Charlie by marrying him. Because then in the event of his death, you'll get his life insurance policy, you'll get his name forever, and you'll get Turning Point.
My mom used to tell me, don't feel like you need to rely on a man for life and work. And so my mindset, my healthy marriage example was my grandparents. But my mindset was career, career, career.
Yeah.
When I met Charlie, the only reason I sat down with him because I thought it was a consulting position for work. I did not date in Manhattan. I saw the pits of hell of the day.
Oh, there's another lie. You guys, she did not date in Manhattan. What about Cabot Phillips? Here, I'll find it while we pull this up, while we hit play. Watch.
A dating pool through my roommates, and I was not touching that with any longest pole you can imagine. I stayed far away from the dating pool in Manhattan. So I viewed it as obviously the job interview that it was supposed to be. And the Lord knew. Charlie, in some way, similar to how, he sees things in a lot of people, in some way, beautifully saved me.
All right, I got it pulled up. Hold on. There it is. September 17th. It doesn't say the year, but this is in New York. Yep, they're that couple, y'all. Let's see, what does it say over here? That's when somebody commented on it, or that's when they posted it. 2025. Yeah, hold on. Let's look at that last one. Yeah, and then how ironic. Now he's just taking over for Charlie as well. I mean, I know we all probably knew that. Since this is where it all started, I only found it appropriate to wish you a very happy birthday, Cash Cab, our catfish, November 2017. So yeah, she was in New York. And yeah, someone mentioned it earlier that they were playing basketball together. I know. Yeah. Yep. In 2017. So it's like Cabot Phillips and Tyler Boyer, I think, set Charlie up. I mean, they all did, but I mean, Erika knew all of them long before he did. So I mean, that's just crazy. All right, let me go back here.
From a huge mistake of putting career over family and career over husband, because it's easy to do when, as a female, when you see bright lights, big city, but the Lord used him. The Lord used him for
How
me.
long did it take you to fall in love with him?
That's the funny thing is it was.
Yeah, because she was never in love with him. Look at her struggle to find the words. It's a very simple question. If you ever were in love with them, how long did it take you to fall in love with Erika? For her, never. In the Jesse Waters interview, she said the same thing. She couldn't answer if it was love at first sight or that she loved him and when she fell in love with him. And she can't do it here, but she has no problem saying that Charlie fell in love with her right away. It's all about her and how he fell in love with her.
It's so interesting because when we were sitting there, I fell in love with how brilliant he was to be able to articulate what he believed in. And when
she was in love with the part of him that made him famous and his ability to make her millions of dollars. Yeah, cha-ching. She saw like dollar signs just scrolling over his head when she saw him, and she's like, I love that. Yeah, I bet.
Said, I'm not going to hire you. I'm going to date you. I knew that was the Lord because there were so many times where I said, my future husband that's out there, he will literally, it will.
This is literally verbatim the same talking points that she said with Jesse Waters. And I don't believe it was God. I believe it was probably Satan that was talking to you and setting that up.
Will be the only reason why I look up is because the Lord says to look up. And that was something to look up to when someone's like, I'm going to date you. And so but honestly, it was the constant consistency of, I'm here for you. The little texts in the morning, and then it just continued to grow in a beautiful way. So yes, love at first sight. Yes, obviously. But my mindset wasn't there. His was. So you think of it, you're in an interview, you have to totally do a 180 of a mindset. But I honestly, where like the depths of the love started was when we were playing basketball together at the gym, just shooting around together.
By the time we saw that video where he introduced you as his fiance and the two of you were staring at each other.
Oh, I was obsessed. I'm still obsessed
Could
with
not
him.
break
Yeah.
your gaze. I mean, that's, I think as the kids would say, #goals for virtually everybody who wants love in their life. So you did get married.
Yes.
You have 2 kids.
2 precious babies.
And you told me this in private, but How many kids?
Then why are you going to share it, Megan? If she told it to you in private, unless you guys spoke ahead of time and you asked her, can I say this on stage? It'll look and sound really good. Why would you be divulging this in front of everyone if it was said in private? Because this is also staged and agreed upon.
Did you guys want to have?
We wanted to have 4. Yeah. And I was praying to God that I was pregnant when he got murdered.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. Here's the first time in both interviews that she cried. Let's see if it's
I
real.
thought of that once. Just like whether it was meant to be or whether
I know.
we'd get news like that.
I was like, oh goodness, that would be the ultimate blessing out of this catastrophe. So now when I see young couples, I tell them, please, like, don't put it off. Especially if you're a young woman, don't put it off. You can always have a career. You can always,
Erika, take your own advice. At this point, you had already accepted to be CEO of Turning Point. You can put your career off. Your kids are 1 and 3. Go home and raise your kids. Go be with your kids.
Yeah, go back to work. You can never just go back to having children. And they grow so fast and so quickly. But I was praying, both of us were. We were really excited to just expand our family.
Thank God you have the 2.
I know.
Thank God.
Boy and girl. I know.
One day they'll find out. Right now they're just, little
know.
loves. And one day they'll find out that they're Charlie Kirk's children, and they'll know what that means.
All right, Megan, let's hop over here. I can't watch the same thing like just the whole time. I got to mix it up.
In donor meetings and private meetings, even at the White House, when people would be wrong about something, he would double down and he would say to them, no, you don't understand. You are wrong about this. I'm in touch with my audience. I read their emails every day.
Yeah, so
they don't like what you are doing. Fix it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do that.
So you guys aren't going to do that. You guys are not doing that. All of us are the audience. And I guarantee you guys have received emails that everything you've done since his assassination, we don't like. We don't like the direction you're going, the things you're talking about. We don't like how you handled everything. You're attacking Candace. You're not answering our questions on key aspects of the assassination and the cover-up. What are you talking about, freaking Mikey McCoy?
We're committed to it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was very proud of that.
And I just also want to say thank you to the audience, because in the days immediately after, I mean, we looked at each other a couple of times going like, what are we going to do here? And so many of you guys.
Look at how she looks at him. That is freaking weird. That's like puppy dog eyes at Andrew. And they knew each other as well before she knew Charlie. That whole team. And they were like, what are we going to do? I don't know. What are you guys going to do?
Signed up to become members, members.charliekirk.com. So many of you bought the t-shirts at charliekirkstore.com.
So they just said, I'll rewind it, but they just said that just days after the assassination, they're talking about members and merch.
Members.charliekirk.com. So many.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was very proud of that.
And I just also want to say thank you to the audience, because in the days immediately after.
The days immediately after the assassination, this is where their focus was, right here.
I mean, we looked at each other a couple of times going like, what are we going to do here? And so many of you guys signed up to become members, members.charliekirk.com. So many of you bought the t-shirts at charliekirkstore.com.
He's literally plugging for more people to become members and to buy merch. Look at that. She's still looking at him with those puppy dog eyes. What the heck, man?
That you gave us this breathing room in this really hard time. And it was like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we've got a show. We don't know what but we committed to the staff. We're going to keep you. We're going to keep you. And you committed to him.
Yeah. He's referencing that video that we just saw, right? that she's committed to keeping the staff, but she's not really committed to keeping the staff, right? Over 40 mass firing. Let's see. I'm going to hit play and then I'm going to find it.
Very clearly. Maybe say something.
I said, you're not going anywhere. You can choose to leave. Any of you can choose to leave, but you are a part of the Charlie Kirk family, Charlie Kirk Show family, and we need you. Each one of you serves a purpose and a role. And again, if the enemy tries to come in and divide, you'll be able to see that very clearly, but we will all remain a united front and the show will continue.
Lies. Here we go. Right here.
But he's here and he's more alive than ever. And he is, he's going to guide us. And we just have to remain humble. But again, what I told the team was, I will fight like hell to make sure that all of you have a job here. I don't want anyone to think their job's in jeopardy because your family, if you want to,
This is 5 days after his assassination.
if you choose to leave, that's different. I never will, and I promise you, I will make sure that I never allow a point to where you have to leave because we cannot financially.
She said never. Only to find out never doesn't really mean never for Erika Kirk.
Fortunate.
Never means 3-4 months.
And that is a promise. I want our family.
So we can't take you at your word, and you're not honest, and your promises mean nothing because you just promised them everything, and you did in the other show as well. And we know that you didn't keep that promise.
I mean, to stay together the best it can. Obviously, circumstances, things, there's unforeseen things that might pop up here and there that we can't foresee in the future. But for right now, the way things are, I would like to remain if they are status quo. And I think that's the best thing to do. And everything else we can worry about later. But I just want to let you know that you guys are all very loved. I'm very proud of you. And Charlie would be, I think Charlie's just, I'm trying not to say that he would be, he's obviously celebrating in heaven amongst them.
How would you even know that? And no, he's not, because you're saying that he's celebrating in heaven because of how much money you've made, how big Turning Point has gotten. No, he's not, Erika.
Many things, but he's so proud of all of you. And he's so proud of all of you for keeping this mission alive and
working your asses off and getting fired. Yeah. Let's hear.
I mean, a little behind the scenes here. Erika did that speech where I'm standing right now on the podium, somehow got through that, her national address. Then she walks out there to where all of our staff are, and she then goes on to do another speech to all the staff, telling them, you're not going anywhere. We're keeping the lights on. We're doing everything. Yeah. I mean, watching that, I was blown away.
I think we were all inspired. We knew
back.
that Charlie chose well, Erika.
Yeah.
And you chose well. Yeah. You both chose well. And the world is seeing your love affair in a new way. So final.
You're right. We are seeing this quote unquote love affair in a new light, Andrew. Yeah, for the BS, fake, arranged, honeypot, setup, psyop, marriage, relationship, business arrangement that it was.
Seconds to you.
I just am very proud of all of you. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for the audience. And I'm really looking forward to how this show is going to continue to be blessed and continue to be a voice for all of Charlie's causes and continue to just.
Except for the Israel cause, except for wanting to ask questions. Nope. That cause is done, except for talking about the genocide in Gaza, except for talking about, and I can't say this person's name, the files that just got released. We'll call it the Einstein files. But yeah, he was talking about that, about Einstein being an agent of another country. No, you're not going to keep doing everything that he was doing before he died.
empower and enhance the legacy of my husband.
Amen.
And I'm just
And
so grateful.
We are going to do everything we can to be worthy of that. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, great. We're going to hop back over here. Or wait, let's hop here.
It's funny because my son loves to throw balls and baseball bat.
She did it again, you guys. My son, not our son.
Footballs. And my sweet daughter, she's starting now to want to say little speeches. So we all are sitting there to listen. But you know what's so sweet is that my daughter's starting to want to put our son to bed at night in his crib. And so it's very meticulous of how it's done. So it's a little bit Charlie of like making sure that it's the right rhythm. And we put him in the crib, and then I say, okay, mommy's leaving. And she sits there, and I just watch her on this video of singing Jesus Loves Me to him. And that's the song that Charlie would sing to her. Never said, okay, now you need to sing that to your brother. So I feel like it's little moments like that where I'm like, that's you, Charlie. That's you. You're there.
You're very protective of your children's privacy.
Yes.
As Charlie's profile grew, were you concerned?
We live in a day and age where the internet feels so entitled to everything. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You know, explain this, explain that. And we live in a world where children don't even have a childhood anymore. You know, why are you posting a photo of your kids so that you can get $50 off a stroller? Like,
She literally used that same exact statement at a previous speaking engagement when she was wearing the pink fluffy dress, and someone in the crowd asked a question about how to balance work life and wanting to be a mom. And she said that exact same thing, that women shouldn't use their children. And I agree, you shouldn't use your children to make money, but like verbatim, she like repeats these same talking points. She clearly has been given talking points.
that does not make sense to me.
Crazy.
If you can't afford a stroller, buy one you can afford. Like, that makes
Okay, not everyone's like you, Erika. First of all, worth millions and millions of dollars, can marry someone like Charlie Kirk, help allegedly assassinate him, take over his organization.
sense to me. But to use your child or a photo of you standing in the bathroom embracing them specifically, and you have 500 copies of that same pose so you can get it right for social media, is bizarre to me. And it was to Charlie too. And our babies are not.
What's bizarre to Charlie and to all of us is that you could say that you wanted, and everyone should be, that's a Christian young mother, to be home with their kids and not at work. And here you are doing the complete opposite.
For anyone else's viewing other than ours in our family. And why would I want AI images of my children out there? Why would I want, and yeah, we get kidnapping threats. We always have. We get death threats. We always have.
That's not true. Remember, she said, no. Charlie wasn't afraid to die. We didn't have any threats. There was no threats.
You're just smart about it. Protect what you love. Protect who you love.
I want to show you a video of Charlie talking about TPUSA.
Okay.
Well, you're about to embark on something that is much.
We can't even believe if that's actually his voice or if it's AI recorded.
What you signed up for?
Well, no, I didn't sign up for anything. I just married the love of my life. Just so happens that that's what he was doing.
Tell me about the day before the shooting.
He was at the office and we were going to meet for dinner beforehand with a dear friend of ours who I wanted to just be with us and pray with us before the event. It's no hidden secret that stuff on campus is heating up. You see people on campus coming on with guns prior to the event that happened with Charlie, the assassination with Charlie.
Wait, she's saying that prior to the assassination, at previous TPUSA events, people were coming on campus with guns. Why didn't they make sure that they were metal detectors and people were screened, that they were patted down, looked in their bags. I thought you're supposed to do everything you can to protect the ones you love, Erika. What about you and Dan Flood?
And so I know that, you know, you and I even talked about how I used to say, you know, Charlie, have you ever thought about wearing a vest? He would nod to that and be like, you know, I've looked into it. But he would always say, if they're going to get me, they're going to get me. He wasn't afraid. Wouldn't have mattered anyways if you wore a vest.
Erika's mom was dealing with a medical issue, so she stayed in Phoenix to care for her. She planned to join Charlie at the next scheduled Turning Point event at Colorado State just a few days later.
He was like, home needs you.
And that's not true, because we know that they didn't even have plans for the Colorado event for any security team. That event was never fully developed, and they were never planning on going there with Charlie. So no, she wasn't planning on meeting him there.
Needs you. Be home. Come with me on Thursday to the next event we have. And so for him that night, he was so excited. I mean, he just was like, I can't wait. It's going to be the best. And he got up around 2:45, 3-ish to go into the kitchen to grab a snack. And our daughter had woke up around that same time. We live in a small space, so you can kind of hear when everyone's kind of shuffling around. And so she came to our room and
They live in a small place? Their house is massive. What is she talking about? They live in a small space?
He stayed in our bed. And he always loved when Gigi slept in our bed. Small space, so you can kind of hear when everyone's kind of shuffling around. And so she came to our room and she stayed in our bed. And he always loved when Gigi slept in our bed, because she's, you know, little ones, they like curl up inside of you and like they're just nuzzled in. But you also know that it can be very acrobatic when a 3-year-old is in your bed and somehow their feet end up on your face. So I said, I want you to have a good night's sleep. Go ahead and sleep in her room. And I'll turn the air down so it's nice and cozy in there. And I just want you to get a good night's sleep. So
Yeah, because you guys, he's like 6'5" or some 7. I don't know. He's really tall, right? Yeah, because you know someone that large sleeps great in a toddler bed. In a toddler bed or a twin. A 3-year-old's not going to be in a full or a queen. They're just not. And she's like, yeah, go get some good sleep in that midget bed, in that child's bed. Yeah, because that's what she said. Doesn't make sense.
It's going to be amazing tomorrow. And so Gigi and I stayed in our room. And that morning he woke up super early and he came into our bedroom, into the bathroom, because that's where his wedding ring was and his necklace. And he came in and he grabbed that.
So she had the necklace in her possession the night before without him in the room. I'm not saying, I think it was the exploding mic on his lapel, and I think it was the hand mic that he held. I think the exploding mic is what did it, and the electrocution on the microphone. I think that's how he was taken out.
And then he left. I didn't even get to give him a kiss goodbye.
Why wouldn't you have gotten to give him a kiss goodbye? He came into your room. You said that just now. You guys talked. He's not going to give you a kiss goodbye. You're not going to give him a kiss goodbye. Why? Because it's more sad. It's a better story that you and Stacy came up with, that if you said you didn't even get to kiss him goodbye, so that you can emotionally manipulate all of us.
When we return,
he was at peace.
All right, I'm going to skip past this straight to, because that's just a commercial. Hold on. Some of these pictures, I want to see this because it shows the crowd.
And there's just this sea.
So there's Brian Harpole. There's Frank. I'm actually going to back up and we're going to pause and we're going to look at some of these photos together. Let's see who's in the crowd. Can you guys see this? All right, I'm going to make it bigger so you guys can see it too. Who's in the crowd? See, can you see anyone in a maroon shirt? Back here. That's a really blurry one, but let's go to the next. Oh, it's a video. I wish I could slow it down. Oh, I can slow it down. Let's go to playback speed. Let's go to very slow. Let's see. Oh, but that's all. I'll put the volume down. Let's see. Maybe a little bit faster. All right, hold on.
Just walk down.
Hold on. I got to go back and forth because now it's going to sound weird. Let me go normal.
Throwing hats and
Let's see who's there.
students. He loved Gen Z and young people.
Who's back here? Frank Turek, 1776. That's the guy messing with the soundboard that's right here. And here's Terrell Farnsworth, who's never there at these events. All right. I don't see Dan Flood anywhere, but you can see that his chair's up on this. There's a platform, a metal platform, never before done like that. And then Dan Flood is over here on this platform, which is completely insulated from whatever could have been charged, whether that be the mic or the ground, because this is a fake grass tarp on top of everything. If he were to not be there, you could see that.
And there's just this sea of endless crowds of people. You couldn't even see the end. He was throwing out hats, and then it's just, still processing it.
Yeah, bullshit.
Sadly, we just started getting word just a couple of moments ago that Charlie Kirk has been shot.
All right, so Dan Flood's right here. Frank Turek, Terrell Farnsworth, and then 1776 guy. I don't know his name.
How did you find out Charlie had been shot?
Was at my mom's doctor's appointment. I have my phone and I see the video come in of him flinging out the hats. And I said, Mom, look, it started.
Wait, hold on. There was Hunter Kozak was right there. Let me back up. Hunter Kozak's right there. Let me back up a little bit more. I'm going to pause it.
Flinging out the hats.
All right. Hunter Kozak's right there. His arms are crossed. No one else is doing that. He looks really weird. Even this guy, who was the first guy to ask Charlie questions, is wanting a hat, putting his hands up. Hunter is glaring at him, clearly uncomfortable and nervous. Look at him.
Mom, look, it started.
Staring at Charlie.
So we saw the hats being flung. I put my phone down and it was on silent, so I had no reason to look back at it. I moved my mom. I went back to grab my phone, and that's when Mikey started calling me. He called me within seconds.
He called her within seconds, you guys. But we know now from the timeline that's not true, right? Mikey called his wife first. So it couldn't have been in seconds. So there's already one lie.
I called Erika.
And now he's going to lie. You called your wife, you called your dad, you called Erika, and you called JD Vance.
I just remember it rang like 3 or 4 times. I didn't know what to say. Those are the words that will change someone's life forever, and you have to be the one to say it. That was the first time I've ever called her during a campus tour stop.
And so Mikey called me, and I'll never forget him just being like, Charlie's been shot.
How is she not breaking down in tears, reliving that moment? She's literally a week after the assassination in this interview. She's reliving the moment she just found out her husband was murdered. How is she not hysterically crying right now? There's just no way. There's no way that 1 week after the assassination, you're on this interview and you're retelling the moment you found out your husband was assassinated and you're not even choked up about it. There's just no freaking way.
He's been shot. Get the kids. Get security. Get the kids. Get the kids. He's been shot. I sprinted out of her treatment center. Just collapsed in the middle of the parking lot. Called our security. Yeah. Unbelievable nightmare.
But no tears, not crying at all.
The communications director of Turning Point USA has asked our team to give a moment of silence and prayer. And so we're going to do that right now. We're going to pause and offer our prayer. We hope you join along.
It was so hard to actually know and hear what was going on, because you're getting phone calls in and out, and hindsight, the way the bullet hit him.
Already, you guys, she is espousing the Fed slop narrative. This is just a week after no one retrieved a bullet. We don't know that he was shot with a bullet at all. And in fact, there's less proof and evidence that he was shot with a bullet at all. And here she is trying to make us all just accept that as a fact. Yeah, this is just one more thing that has made you incredibly suspicious, Erika.
He died instantaneously.
He was pronounced dead.
You don't know that. Look at that. You don't know that he was dead instantly.
He died on the scene. But I'm so glad he didn't suffer. Excuse me.
Oh my God, it's so fake. I know how bad she is at this. Stop whispering out
No one
loud.
deserves to suffer. But him, of all people. So he
She's so
he literally blinked and probably thought he was raptured and looked around and was like, where's everybody else?
How is she telling a joke about how Charlie felt or what he was thinking about? Oh, he probably blinked and thought he was raptured, looked around and he was with Christ. That's not funny at all. That's extremely morbid, just like everything else you said. What the heck, dude?
He blinked and he was with the Lord.
And you wanted to see Charlie immediately and came.
Not immediately. Not immediately. She makes it to Utah and stays at the airfield for an hour and some minutes waiting for Andrew Colvett. Why? Why would you be waiting for Andrew Colvett? Your husband is dead at the hospital. I thought you rushed and wanted to see him immediately. No, you waited over an hour on the tarmac for Andrew Colvett, and then he's on the plane with his wife, and then he gets off the plane and runs and cries in your arm. I don't know about y'all. Like, even if I was friends with someone, work partners or whatever, and their husband died, I'm married. I'm a grown man. I'm not going to run over, especially my wife is with me, and I'm going to run over to this other woman and cry in her arms, console her, and have her console me. That's complete BS. And if it did happen, it's even more weird.
Up. Take us through that.
We landed in Utah, went straight to the hospital.
No, you didn't. You freaking liar. What the heck? You waited on the tarmac for an hour for Andrew Colvett. What are you talking about? You landed and went straight to the hospital. You never thought all this would get out. You never suspected that Andrew would be talking to Candace and Candace would have sources inside TPUSA and that she would find out that everything you're telling us is a lie. So this is you operating under the understanding that we would never catch you in these lies. So that's why you are so comfortable lying to us. That is disgusting and extremely suspicious. So anyone telling me that I shouldn't be looking into Erika Kirk, you don't need to watch this show. Just like Barron said to Joe, high IQ outfit, kick rocks. We don't need you here. Including any friends or family. You don't have to participate. Okay? Because it means you don't have a brain. You watch this, you're watching the same thing I'm watching and we're all watching, and you don't think like this is just wrong. Why did she lie? We know she lied. She waited on the tarmac for an hour for Andrew. She did not go straight to the hospital. That's not a small mistake. No, that's a lie.
When you walked in, everyone was just, it was a scene from just a horror movie. Everyone is so rattled to the core. Officers, law enforcement, hospital workers, our team, everyone is just shaken. And we get into the room. One of the law enforcement guys comes in. It's very sweet, but what do you say to someone whose husband just was assassinated so publicly? I said, I've been doing this for 30 some years. He said, I will never tell you that you cannot see your husband. He said, but I, in my professional opinion, think that you should wait to see him once he's at the mortuary. Because I don't think you want to see him like this. The room got quiet because half the room knew it's probably a good idea. And the other half of the room was like, there's no way she's listening to you right now. And I responded back to him and I said, with all due respect, sir, I said, I want to see what they did to my husband. And I want to give him a kiss because I didn't get to give him a kiss this morning.
And that's a lie. So he walked in the room before he left, grabbed his necklace, got ready. You were talking and he didn't say goodbye and give you a kiss goodbye. BS. And that's what led you to be able to say you didn't give him a kiss, so you want to give him a kiss.
And I said the same thing to the doctor. When the doctor came in, I said, I want to see my husband. He said, I'll make sure that happens. And I did. And I got to see him. And when we walked into that room, he still looks so alive. Because he just, and I'm just so glad I saw him because you know this when you see someone pass at the mortuary. They never look the same when they're at the mortuary. They have this awful makeup and they're cold. And he was still warm and his eyes were slightly open. But it was so powerful, Jesse. He had this smirk on his face. It was so sweet. He had this smirk on his face where it meant three things to me. First, that he died doing what he loved. The second was that he was at peace. And I gave him a kiss. Gave him a kiss. And then before I left the room, which was one of the hardest moments of my life, was leaving him in that room. Excuse me. I looked at him and I thought to myself, that smirk to me is that look of, you thought you could stop what I've built. You thought that you could end this vision, this movement.
So she was thinking about Turning Point and the organization and not him, about what he built, about what she was going to take over. That's what she was thinking about when she saw her husband after he was dead.
This revival, you thought you could do that by murdering me. You got my body. You didn't get my soul.
Oh my God. She's just so just not operating in reality.
I never saw the video. I never will see it.
BS.
I never want to see it.
BS.
There's certain things you see in your life that you can never unsee. There's certain things you see in your life that mark your soul forever. I don't want my husband's public assassination to be something I ever see. I don't want my kids to ever see that.
Well, duh.
And for people who actually enjoy watching that, which is quite literally sick.
Who said anybody enjoyed watching it, Erika? Where are you getting that? What, because we wanted to see so we could figure out what happened, who did it? No one watched that because they enjoyed watching it. Why would you say that?
What if that was your father or your brother or your sister? There's a perspective shift there. We're human. Life is fragile. And there is so much beauty in this world. Why would you waste any portion of your life looking at something so evil?
So this is her early on trying to get us to not look at any videos from that day. I get it. She doesn't want any of us watching any of the footage that anyone recorded from that day because she knows that we could start to find things out. Because remember, they did not expect that we were not going to drop this, that we were all going to slow down every footage, look at every angle, analyze every body movement, every person there. We were going to look for inconsistencies. We were going to look for odd differences. But she's sitting here saying, you're sick if you look at that video. You're sick. Don't do it. Don't ask questions. Don't look at anything. Don't investigate. Just move on. Like I did. I moved on. I forgave him. I accepted it. I moved on. So should you.
Charlie was answering a question about trans violence when he was murdered. Do you think that was a coincidence?
I don't believe in coincidences.
There we go. Further the Fed slop BS narrative. Wanting to let us know that she thinks it was a crazy leftist that assassinated Charlie. And this is just a week after, and she has no evidence to back that up.
Do you think they've caught your husband's killer?
So, something I'm so grateful for.
You can't just answer the question, Erika. It's a yes or no answer. It's yes or no. Do you think they've caught your husband's killer? Yes or no? Like I said earlier, she's allergic to answering questions. She will burst into flames.
Is that we have one of the most incredible teams for this case. I would never wish it upon anybody to have to go through what we are.
What do you mean we? We have one of the most incredible teams. You mean the state of Utah? The state that's prosecuting this case? Your lawyers aren't doing anything. TPUSA lawyers aren't litigating this case. What are you talking about? We have the best team.
Going through. To have seen the autopsy report, to have
which you won't let out for anyone to see. You'll tell us what you say it was, what you say it said, but you won't let anyone see it, not even Candace.
Seen the different evidence portions that have been collected.
What evidence are you talking about, Erika? There's no evidence that Tyler Robinson is part of this in any way.
I trust our team.
Our team. So you're part of the state? You're part of the government?
There's other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened, my phone died and became a black hole. I just didn't turn it on for weeks on end. I've intentionally insulated myself because I need to guard my heart.
That's not true. You're in the public eye. You're doing dozens and dozens of media blitz appearances. Okay. You went on a book tour. You did the memorial. You went to the White House. You accepted the nomination to be CEO. You were at the work to do that work phone event. You did the audio Zoom. What are you talking about? You were insulated. Your phone was off. How did anyone get a hold of you? How did you accept the nomination? How are you communicating with Andrew Colvett?
And I need to be there for my kids. And I need to be there for Turning Point.
No, you only need to be there for your kids. And I guess we can accept that what she's saying is she only needed to be there for her kids for the first 48 hours. Because at 72 hours, the board voted and she became CEO and she accepted it. And she went right to work. That meeting phone call was 5 days after the assassination, and she hasn't stopped working since.
And what I've realized through all of this is that everyone grieves differently. Everyone is trying to figure out, and I don't blame them.
There's that talking point. She said that in the movie, in the meeting as well, giving herself an out, giving herself a defense of why her behavior is so off, how it looks nothing like Jackie Onassis's behavior, how it looks nothing like Kobe Bryant's wife's behavior. Everyone grieves differently, you guys. No, you haven't grieved at all. You didn't move through any of the normal stages of grief and loss. You went straight to acceptance, and that is suspicious and bizarre.
How does this happen? How does somebody become so radicalized where they can justify this in their own head? We just lost one of the greatest voices of our generation. Why? How? What's behind it? Like, everyone's trying to process this. And I respect that. But where my heart is just asking for some grace is for the ones who were there that day. They have to relive that every single day. He didn't die in a car accident. He didn't die from cancer. He was assassinated. And the difference between this and previous assassinations in this country is there was no social media. There was no AI. I can tell you how many fake images are out there of all of this. And again, my only request is that just please pray and consider and think about whatever you put online, because it's going to impact his kids in the future. I don't want my kids to go on the internet.
You guys, you need to not ask questions, okay? Because of the team, because of Mikey McCoy and Blake Neff and Andrew Colvett, Tyler Boyer, we need to let this go. We need to move on. We need to not ask questions online. Candace needs to shut up and move on. We need to drop it. We need to not do any kind of research online because of her kids, because we're going to put them in jeopardy by trying to figure out who actually killed Charlie.
One day when they're older and see things that it's just, we're all trying to process this in their own way, and I appreciate that. But just some grace would be nice.
Do you feel safe?
I do. What are they going to threaten me with? Going to heaven sooner to be with my husband? And I don't say that to be reckless. I do not. I do not say that because I'm out in the streets like, here I am, come find me. And that's not at all. It's a fearlessness that's rooted in the understanding that I will have my day and my time, whenever that is. When the Lord knows that I've completed my mission. And I'm not afraid. Charlie wasn't afraid either. We never lived in fear. If we did, we wouldn't get anything done. And I can't help run alongside this mission of Turning Point USA and raise my babies with fear. I can't. That's not.
No, but you could go home and just raise your babies and be out of the spotlight and not be in the exact chair and position that Charlie was in that got him killed. That is reckless. And you are putting yourself, if you believe, right? If she actually believed, you guys, that the left are the ones that killed Charlie. And they're the ones, remember, she said that they got constant death threats, kidnapping threats all the time from the left. And instead of going home, taking her kids out of the spotlight, like Jackie O did after JFK was assassinated, wanting to protect her children from the world, instead of doing that, she steps into the exact position that Charlie was in. And she supposedly believes that the left is to blame and they're the ones that killed Charlie. And now she's in that same exact position. No, She knows that the left had nothing to do with it. And that's why she's so comfortable to take over that position, because she knows her life is not in danger. Because the people allegedly that are responsible for this are all the people around her and her herself, in my opinion.
A life to live for anybody.
What's the hardest part of your day?
The nighttime, always. I'll tell him about my day. I talk to him all the time. But the nights are the hardest. Being in a bed by yourself. Rolling over, trying to goodnight kiss that's not there. It's, and anyone who's a widow knows what that means. How painful that is. Excuse me. It's so easy to take the little things for granted, but you know what's so interesting? I was thinking about this the other day. It's so easy to be in a position of feeling regret when you lose someone you love. And I tried to read a book by C.S. Lewis because he lost the love of his life. He was only married to her for 4 years. I think it's called A Grief Observed. And it was a very hard book to read. Not because it was about grief, but because in the opening pages, he talked about how angry he was with God. And I've never felt that.
Yeah. And that's weird. If my wife was murdered or died even in a car crash, right? The natural reaction, if you are a Christian or believe in God at all, you are literally going to be very mad at God for a while. That's one of the stages of grief, anger. C.S. Lewis even said he was extremely angry at God. One of the greatest thinkers and Christian writers ever. Wrote the Screw Tape Letters. I mean, everything that he wrote. And even he questioned and was mad at God. Same with Kobe Bryant's wife. And you're telling me you weren't mad at all. You didn't feel that at all. Yeah, because you're like as good as Jesus's mom, Mary, your mother, Mary. And you don't grieve because you're like superhuman or not human.
I'm not angry with God.
You should be. And the fact that you're not is weird.
Never have I questioned, why, Lord, are you putting me through this? Why are you testing me? Why are you? This God is so good. And he's so.
Dude, you are so off. It's like not even possible how off you are.
Sovereign. And I know he uses everything, even what the enemy meant for evil. And I have no regrets. And I think that that's why processing.
You have no regrets. You said you didn't kiss him that morning when he left. You don't regret that you didn't kiss him. You don't regret that you didn't get out of bed and just give him a hug before he left that day. You don't regret that you wish he could have slept in your bed with you the night before and you could have had one last night together with him. You don't regret that you didn't take all the threats to his life more seriously. You don't regret that you didn't go with him. You don't regret anything. You have no regrets. He's gone and you'll never get to do a million things with him, and you can't undo things that you did before he died, and you can't go back and do things you didn't do with him, but you have no regrets. And you're not mad at God. And you forgive Tyler. Yeah, none of your behavior is normal at all. Oh, I hate it when it does this. Hold on. There we go.
This, for me, is probably different than most because people say, how can you do all what the other you do? And it's because I loved and still love Charlie.
Did you watch the news after the assassination? Because there were some people saying that Charlie deserved to die.
Mhm.
Charlie had it coming.
There's so much beauty in life. I don't know why you would waste.
Once again, she's allergic to answering questions. She can't just say if she saw the news after he died and if she's seen how people were like celebrating Charlie's death and how she felt about that.
Your time saying somebody deserves to be publicly executed in front of everyone. That's just, why would you say that? Again, that could have been your parent, your spouse, your loved one. You think it's funny until it's someone you love? I would just ask them to really reassess their priorities in life if they get a high off of watching someone be murdered.
Jimmy Kimmel lied about your husband's murder and didn't really apologize.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to Jimmy Kimmel?
Same thing I told Sinclair. They asked, I haven't really told anybody this, so they asked, do you want Jimmy to give you an apology? Do you want to be on his show? How can we make it right? Through our team, I responded. I said, tell them thank you. We received their note. This is not our issue, not our mess. We are grieving and we have an organization to run.
You are not grieving, Erika, and you're putting yourself in the same camp as like his fellow employees that we are all grieving. Okay, no, none of you are grieving. You're definitely not grieving, and you shouldn't be grieving on the same level that his fellow employees were grieving. There should be a distinction and a difference, and there's not. And then the next statement you say is that you have a company to run and a business to run. No, you need to be at home with your kids. That's where you need to be, at home raising your 2 little children. Sucks. So unreal.
My husband never told people what to say. You do what you think is best and right.
No, but you knew that people were telling him what to say and what not to say. You know that. You know that his donors were pressuring him what to do, what to say, what not to do, what not to say. And you can't be honest about that. You can't be honest about him leaving the pro-Israel cause, him turning his views on Israel.
I prayerfully wish you the best, but I will never ask someone to give me an apology that they don't genuinely mean. That's between you and the Lord. If you want to say I'm sorry to someone who's grieving, go right ahead. But if that's not in your heart, don't do it. I don't want it. I don't need it.
Hold on, I'm going to fast forward to the next part because we don't need to watch that part. Here we go.
A lot of this is from when people came to the campus, the Turning Point USA offices, and left it outside the gates. Also, a lot has been mailed. I mean, it's just unbelievably humbling. But this is all mail. I told them not to throw anything away. I want every single card saved for my kids. And for when, if the day gets hard at your desk, you come into this mailroom.
Can you guys see how important Charlie was to all of us? Can you see? They didn't ask anyone to send anything. And people were so moved. They sent, look at all these pictures. Look at all of this stuff people sent. And then all of these letters. You're telling me that Erika and all those people, all the donors, they didn't realize how important Charlie was? They knew. I thought it was not vision, it wasn't founder led. Yeah, it was. Everyone was there for Charlie. And you guys couldn't allow Charlie to be Charlie anymore because Charlie being Charlie was threatening everything you guys wanted to do and were planning to do with Israel.
And I want you to come in And I want you to pick up any of these cards and I want you to read it so you can put into perspective why you work here. This is my children's favorite section. This is the section that I tell them that in heaven, Daddy he's orchestrating with his friends to send them little presents so that they never forget that Daddy's watching over them. So whenever I bring the kids here at the office, I always let them grab one thing to play with. But I mean, it's really sweet. So you remember I told you that Daddy was working with his friends from heaven to send you presents every day so you always know you're loved? See?
This is Sesame Street.
It is.
Sesame Street.
I know, it's Sesame Street, but all these are for you, baby. These are from Daddy's friends.
Why don't you read this to me?
I'll read it to you.
You told your children that Charlie was going on a work trip with Jesus. Are they still asking, where's Daddy?
Yes, my daughter continues to ask. I told her the other day, because she said, I just miss Daddy, and where's Daddy? When is he coming home? And I said, baby, Daddy's still with Jesus. And I said, there are.
How can you laugh at that statement? Charlie is still with Jesus. So your husband's dead, and you're telling your daughter that, and you're not crying.
So busy. And I said, if ever you want to talk to Daddy, you just look up to the sky and start talking to him. He can hear you. It's always me.
There we go. Okay, finally.
And I told her, I said, you know, Daddy.
Oh, but not for real.
Daddy's
Just
in
like a half
heaven.
a second of crying, and then it's gone.
She goes, so does that mean he's in a different house? And I said, yes, baby, he is building a house for us. Some people would say a mansion. She goes, you think I could go sometime?
Oh.
Excuse me. Children are so precious. I said, baby, we will all go one
Right.
day.
I could do this, but I need to get ready to go to bed. I will answer. You guys have any questions or you have any comments you want to write in the chat that I can read? How can you have children, Erika? You never were pregnant? Yeah, I mean, I have questions about that. You know, I mean, it's hard. I'm not quite all the way there that they didn't have kids, because if those kids weren't theirs, that means Charlie was in on it. And I just don't know if I'm ready. I'm not there yet. I would need to see more proof and evidence that, you know, that she literally couldn't have kids, or that those kids weren't theirs. So it's just, yeah. She set up his death tent. Yeah, at TPUSA events. Yeah, and the microphone was on display at Mar-a-Lago. Like, let's see if I can pull it up. Hold on. Let me pull it over so I can. Okay, Charlie Kirk's mic at Mar-a-Lago, where they raised like millions of dollars. Let's see, where is it? I was able to find it before. I don't know why. That's just the photo of, that's just the painting. There it is. I got it. All right. Let me see. Once it pulls up, guys, let me pull it up all the way. Look at this. Hold on. Oh, I did. Watch this, guys. Yeah. This is at the Mar-a-Lago event. Just, I don't know how long after his assassination, they put his mic in a glass case on display. Yeah. To get donors to donate more money. It was a donor. They were raising money. Yeah. And yeah, the tent was for sure the tent that he was assassinated under, and they're using it at every event. Bro, when my family died, my face was wet with snot and tears. Yeah, I know. I agree. Let's see. It's moving quicker. She's evil. Notice that she starts really shedding tears. She turns towards, not away from the camera. Yeah, exactly. It's all a show. It's all an act. Where are the 75 orphans? Yeah. I mean, that whole, her connection with the military, the government, that Romanian Angels, nonprofit, and then how that's connected to Greg Laurie's orphanage that was in Romania is just so sketch. She sounds so fake. She really makes you question what Charlie's seen in her. Yeah, I agree. It's next level 6 stuff. I agree 100% with you. Exactly what I think. Yeah. That's crazy about the mic at Mar-a-Lago. I know. Yeah, it's disgusting. What if they adopted? I don't know. I don't know, man. Hopefully Candace, I can't wait until Charlie's parents start talking and Charlie's sister starts talking. Hopefully someday they do. They could answer all these questions. They could for sure verify that those are their kids or they're not. They could put a lot of this suspicion to rest. And I think it is kind of interesting that they haven't done anything. And I don't know why that would be. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not going to read that one out loud. When she says stuff like assassinated, dead, gone, even Mikey and Rob and Frank, none of them choke up over uttering those words. I know, and it's so bizarre because all of this stuff was like right away too. At no point where does it make them sad or at tears when they say those words. Who brings her ex to work for her dead husband's company? I know. Yeah, I showed that. Cabot Phillips is actually like taking over a lot of the campus tour events, the Prove Me Wrong events. And he did a whole thing like for TPUSA, lead like Charlie. So bizarre. One of these days, we're going to turn around and JT Massey, her other ex, is going to be working there. They're really playing in all our faces. Yeah. Yeah, it's all about the money. I agree. It's all about the Benjamins. Yep. Very unnatural. How could Charlie not have seen this in her? I don't know, man. I know. I question that. I'm sorry, but you don't dab your nose and then dab your eyes and then with the same tissue. Yeah, unless you're faking and also gross. Yeah. She kissed a dead body. Yeah. 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 They will never go to jail. I don't think so. Yeah. Just like the files that got released. I think all the people implicated in that won't go to jail. They're all protecting each other. When I was notified about my husband's death in Afghanistan, I was curled up on our bed for weeks and had to remind myself to breathe or eat and not sleep. I'm sorry, Victor. 2026. I was in the Marine Corps as well. I'm sorry for your loss. And yeah, that is a natural reaction to losing your spouse. That's common. A lady on Baron Coleman's show posted in a comment that her and her daughter, after watching some of Erika's appearances, the daughter asked her mom, the mom asked the daughter, do you remember me laughing and doing anything after your dad was killed? And the daughter was like, no, I remember you wearing his shirt and not coming out of your room for a month. Yeah. A bullet wouldn't blow off his ring. No, yeah, his ring came off, the necklace, all of it. That's why I'm 100% that it was the exploding mic with electrocution. That's the only thing that can explain the necklace shoving down and then breaking and then flipping over his head. It's the only thing that it can explain the shirt movement and then the pieces of the mic flying across. And then the electrocution is the only thing that could explain the ring coming off of his ring and falling off of his ring. So I definitely think it was the exploding mic and electrocution of the mic, that mic that's on the display. And that's why I think they're very morbid. I think they know exactly how he died and they're putting it on display. And that's why the tent's on display and the mic. Yeah. And Anyone notice that the hands in the coffin are similar size to hers, yet if you look at photos, Charlie's, yeah, he did have massive hands. Um, and he was extremely, yeah, he was like 6'5" or something like that. And he had massive hands. Yeah, I mean, those, let's see. Let me see if I could pull it up. Stick with me for a second. Let me pull it up. Hold on. I need to share. Let me go here. Hold on one second, guys. Let me get it up. It's Charlie Kirk's wife. Here, here. All right. And then let me make myself smaller. Oh, add it to stage. There we go. All right. Let me back it up.
Oh, I love you. I love you.
Oh, you guys. What the heck? You're right. How are her hands as big as his hands? What the heck?
I know. I love you. I love you.
Stacy's the one holding the camera, and she asked Erika to do this. And Erika was like, yes, this is great PR. People are going to love it. They're going to donate. They're going to sign up. They're going to buy merch.
God bless you.
Who says that anyways? God bless you to your husband. Like as you're kissing his hands, as someone's filming you, as you know, you're aware that someone is filming you. You told them to do it, or you gave them permission when they asked you if they could do it. If they could watch you kiss your dead husband's hands while he's in the casket just a day after, and you are saying things out loud so that the camera can hear because you're aware that the camera's filming you. Yeah, that's not normal. So crazy. All right, let me go back here, guys. Hold on. Again. There we go. All right. Isn't there like a 5-year age difference between them? She totally targeted him. Yeah. I don't think she was born. I don't know about that. His body's not there. Yeah. Take my little hand. It's stronger. Yeah. My strong hand. Why would anyone tape this? Yeah. If you're extremely sick and perverted and evil and you're thinking about money and publicity, weird to draw attention to his hands in that way. Yeah. And I mean, it's like they want us to look at things that, in my opinion, they know or how he died, like that his hands were holding the mic. And they want us to look at the mic on display and the tent at the events and then his hands. And they're extremely like, yeah, it's so weird the way that they went about some of these things. It's easier to fake happy than it is to fake being sad. The most vile absolute insanity. Yeah. What is this one? It says, I think Charlie's messages to Andrew, Dan, and the group chats and other messages he sent were like his own dead man switch because eventually they would come out. He knew they would try to hijack his movement. Yeah, that's possible. I mean, I think he knew that in the days leading up to his assassination, he said he was afraid for his life. Yeah, I can't stand her any either. Convincing enough to be a beauty queen. Yeah. Let's see her big Masonic rings. Yeah, she said that the M and the G are her kids' initials. I know Gigi is the daughter's nickname. I don't know what their son's name is. But she also was wearing a what is it? The Knights of Malta cross. Let me pull it up. Watch this. Let me show you guys what it looks like. She has a necklace. Here, I'll just share this. Wait, let me go here. I gotta share my screen. There's this one, but also here. These are the Knights of Malta Cross, and she was wearing it. I have to find the video. I don't remember which one it is right now off the top of my head. But she's wearing a necklace, and it's the Knights of Malta Cross, which is another like high up, deep secret, secret society, you know. And she she was trained, or she went to a Jesuit school as well. So, and that's an interesting data point. All right, you guys. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys so much. Let me see. I can share this. Let's see. Did we break 1,200? We did. I'll share this. Let me see. Let me share this with you guys. My channel is steadily growing. I couldn't do it without you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm excited to bring more content. The bigger I grow, the more I can devote time to this. I work full time and, you know, have a family and stuff. So this is all right now a side gig for me, but eventually I hope that I can do this full time, and then I can really start doing things that I really want to do, which is much more of my own research, setting up my videos like further and further ahead of time, planning, like having planned scheduled lives the same time each day, the same time each week, which would allow you guys to plan and know when I'm going live. So I apologize right now that like when I go live, it's kind of last minute. It's when I'm able to. I can't like pre-schedule a lot of them. On the weekends I can. And I'll be able to do a lot more deep dives in my own research as I get bigger, and I can devote more time to this. But thank you guys so much for all your support. I appreciate all of you guys. Have a good night. I'll see you guys next time.